you're going to start on your back, and I'm going to start first just with some breathing. So you're going to rest one hand to your rib cage, one hand to your low belly. And as you breathe in, you're going to feel your rib cage expand out wide, both out to the sides, but also into your back, so that you're breathing into the floor a little bit. And then as you exhale, you'll exhale out through pursed lips, creating a feeling of contraction and compression around your waistband. Again, breathing in and breathing out wide, as if there's an umbrella opening up inside of your ribcage, expanding out. And then exhaling out through pursed lips again, feeling your abs gently compressing in. And as you're doing this, you're not actually moving your bones anywhere. Everything stays in the same spot, just allowing the breath to move the muscles without moving the bones. And then from there, we're going to do some little pelvic rocks. So imagine here that your pelvis is a wheel. You can engage your abs and rock your pelvis towards you, so your pubic bone is rocking towards your belly button. And in this case, your low back will start to sink towards the floor. Try not to push with your legs with this. And then you're going to unwind back out again and let your abs release. And then again, you're going to scoop through your abs, feel your low back start to melt into the floor. And then you're going to let that out. And creating a little bit of a curve in the low back. We'll do that just one more time. Keeping neck and shoulders relaxed. And then releasing back out. Then from here, we're going to stay in what's called neutral, or as close to it as possible. So you've got a little bit of space between your low back and the floor. However, your rib cage ideally is settled on the floor. And if you ever feel like your neck is uncomfortable here, or your head, just put a little pad or a pillow underneath your head. So here we're going to keep the hip bones as level as possible so that you're nice and stable throughout your low back and your pelvis. And we're going to lift one leg at a time up and down. Now, there's lots of ways to do this. The ideal way is to feel like your abdominal wall is like a little sandwich. You're compressing it a little bit, and you're holding that support as you march your legs out. And in this way, the movement of the legs doesn't interfere with the stability and the balance of the low back and the pelvis. And then we'll return both feet down. Feet are going to be about hip distance apart, pointing straight forward. You're going to go back to your little pelvic rock, scooping your abs in. Then you're going to recruit your glutes, push through the soles of your feet, feel your glutes turning on, feel the front of your hips opening, you're lifting up. And then you're going to roll back down again, one vertebra at a time, really trying to articulate down through your spine, all the way down, and coming back to that little bit of neutral where you've got, again, a little curve in the low back. And again, we're exhaling, scooping the abs in, pushing through the soles of the feet. Try to use both legs evenly, keeping the glutes on. Front of the hips and thighs get to open a little bit. You don't need to come as high as I am if that doesn't feel good for your back. Whatever level works, totally fine. And then use your abs to help roll you straight down the center as you return back down again. And we'll do that just once more. Exhaling again, scooping in the abs, backs of the legs are working to lift you up. Glutes are wrapping in. Even using your inner thighs a little bit so that your knees don't pull open. And then rolling back down again. And we'll hug the knees into the chest and rock from side to side, giving your back a little bit of a stretch. You're going to flip over on your side and cradle your head in your hand. Ideally here the knees are about at the height of the hips, more or less. You're going to bring your hand to your forehead, palm faces out, and then going to start to revolve around, catching your head in the palm of your hand as you revolve around. This is is a nice stretch for the whole spine, the abdomen. And then we're going to come all the way back around from there. And again, revolving around. Imagine here that you're like a rotisserie chicken and you're getting all your movement from your ribs rather than pulling yourself around with your shoulder. Let your ribs take you there. The hips and the knees ideally will stay pretty much stacked, although they can move a little bit with you as you go. And then coming back around. And we'll flip around and we'll do the other side. Knees up, hands to your forehead. And rotating around. Breathing into your side again. Using that umbrella breath to help expand your lungs. And then exhaling, coming back again. Making sure your neck is really relaxed, that your eyes revolve around with you as you go. Do that one more time. You're certainly welcome to do more repetitions than this if that feels appropriate for you. And back again. Okay, then we're going to transition onto our tummies. The legs can be together or they can be slightly apart, whatever feels better for you. Hands are going to be just by the shoulders. Be sure here when you're laying on your tummy that you engage your glutes as well as your abs. That'll help to support your low back. And then feel here that the palms of the hands are stuck on the floor. And you're going to gently hug the heels of the hands downwards as you stretch your spine upwards. We're not looking really for height, you're more looking for reach. So it should feel as if your whole spine is reaching out of your toes and vice versa. And then returning back down again. Ideally, it's your mid-back that's doing the work, not your low back. So it's the job of the glutes to help tip the tailbone down a little bit to help support the low back so that we can get some movement and action through the upper back. Upper back, mid-back being an area that's usually pretty weak on most people just because we spend so much time in a forward posture. And then back down again. Spend so much time on our iPhones, our computers, driving, etc. So this is a nice way to reverse some of the impact of that forward motion. And then you're turning back down again. And then depending on how much bend you have in your knees, you could go onto all fours and round your back to help do a little counter stretch after that. Or you could take the knees apart, big toes together, and stretch back from there. And the arms can be straight or they can come long by your sides. Then from there we'll come back to all fours, hands and knees just about shoulder distance apart. And the knees are about hip distance apart. And you're going to extend the right leg out behind you and lift the leg up off the floor. Ideally, the hip bones are going to stay pointing straight down towards the floor. And you're going to reach your opposite arm out and away. Okay, using your core to help support. And then we'll come down, and you're going to do the other side. Trying to keep everything level and square. Moving from your center. Now, if it's hard for you to bear weight on your shoulders or your knees, you can do this exercise standing. It requires more balance, but it'll still work. So opposite arm and leg lifts, and then returns back down. Okay. And there's that all fours one. One more time, which is a bit different than the standing one. All right, so I hope those will keep you healthy for your holiday and have a wonderful holiday. Thanks.